What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Where Does Food? The food history podcast that tells you about the history of food. I'm Elle, and that's
Tim.
And today, Tim, we are talking about a heavy hitter, an international superstar. Today, we are chatting about bacon.
Bacon.
We're begging
it's
for
the
bacon.
thing that our generation made their whole personality.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah, at one point, bacon took on this like pop culture phenomena, and it was like mustaches, where everyone had to make everything about bacon.
If there were two things I could describe our generation as, it would be avocado toast and bacon. Those are food things. The third thing is that we don't buy diamonds. That's our that's our third thing.
I didn't realize that was oh yeah, that's right. We're just ruining every industry. Yeah. We don't buy diamonds.
We are killing the precious gems industry. So.
Yeah. So Tim, we know how Nick Jonas feels about bacon. How do you feel about bacon?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm not a lover of bacon. I don't hate it. I think it's good. I think it's tasty, but I don't think it like improves everything. People like treat
That's a hot
bacon
take.
that it just improves everything.
Everything and
Like,
anything. Mm-hmm.
Put it on an egg sandwich, it's better.
It's better.
Wrong. Put it on a hamburger, it's better. Wrong. Like bacon is fine as like if I'm getting
salad.
If I'm getting like a big, you go to the breakfast diners and you buy just like the slam super plate, whatever the fuck they call them.
I got you.
They're different. Yeah, the superstar fucking buffet, go fuck yourself thing. And it's like eggs and toast and hash browns and bacon or sausage. It's like the whole nine. I don't mind it. I don't mind having bacon on the side because it's this nice little delightful, like crispy, crunchy little salty delight. But I don't think it necessarily improves everything that it goes into.
Wow.
And I think that's why I don't really like barbecue restaurants that much, is because they just because all their sides that are totally fine without bacon, they just like chronically add bacon to it because they're a barbecue restaurant. We can't just have mac and cheese. Got to have bacon mac and cheese.
Can't just have beans.
Can't just do potato salad. Got to add bacon to our potato salad. It's like, why the fuck did you add bacon to a potato salad, you freaks? Like, I don't know.
I didn't realize you felt so strongly about bacon like this.
No, it's not that I hate it. It's just that it is like this thing where people want to fucking throw it in everything, and that somehow makes it better. Or wrap veggies in it. I've never understood that. Asparagus, way better without bacon. Brussels, better without bacon. Like, stop putting bacon on things that do not need bacon. Like,
I don't mind that as much.
They don't.
I don't mind it as much, but it's not something you're doing all of your time. You're making, like, veggies.
I just don't see. Especially Brussels and asparagus. These two things where people add they think bacon makes it better, and it's like, dude, salt, pepper, olive oil is one of the best versions of both of those things you can ever have.
That's all you need.
And then on top of it, there's just like different renditions of it that are better. Like some people will like cook their Brussels with like fish sauce and things like that. Just these really unique combinations that are much more interesting and better than just like butter, bacon, and salt. Like, fuck off.
Damn. Okay, this is about to be a fun episode then. Okay, so there's 5 different types of bacon. So the scale's pretty simple. So from 1 to 5, how do you feel about it?
Solid 2.5. Can we do halves?
I think that's the first halves we're getting. Yeah, do 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go right down the middle. It's 2.5 for sure.
All right.
It is a 50% for me all day long.
I feel like this is a good start.
Yeah.
This is a good start. Okay, so we got 2.5. Yeah. Let's heat up the pan.
Not a bacon lover.
I'm not a bacon lover, but you don't hate it. But you're not going to necessarily say no to it. That's a good place. I feel like this is a good place to be at.
Yeah, and I'll put it this way too. I'm not going to like order it on things. I truly am like I don't mind ordering it if it's a side of something like for breakfast, but I do not order bacon burgers. I don't order like I just don't add like those options where it adds bacon. I don't go out of my way to find or order. It's just not my thing.
Do you like BLTs?
BLTs when tomatoes are in season, wonderful.
Oh,
on a nice like sourdough.
Oh my gosh.
Love
okay,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my thing with tomatoes too, is as I've really grown to appreciate tomatoes when they are in season versus just always having them around.
Sure.
because, and that's just me being like fucking snotty about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll eat tomatoes out of season. When they are in season though, whoa, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
They're just way sweeter, you know.
So
they're
good.
just juicier. They just have a better.
You can definitely tell the fruits and vegetables that are supposed to be eaten when they're supposed to be eaten. And I'll leave it at that.
Right, and that's the thing with BLT. It says like BLT, right? Like tomato is one of the prime ingredients. So like that's why
one of the
I
three
think
main.
it just needs to be like, especially because you're not cooking it, right? You're keeping it in a very raw state. So it's compared to like pizza sauces and things like that, where it doesn't matter if we're out of season. We're fucking beating the shit out of it with heat and sauce and, and spice and all that shit.
It's still going to be good. So. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's going to be delicious no matter what.
Absolutely. So. But yeah, if you're going to have, like you said, when constructing a BLT like that, you want the ingredients to all be fresh. Like that's half the fun of eating something like that. 100%.
Especially. Hey guys, welcome to the ad section. I'm here to tell you real quick about Anchor by Spotify. You may have heard us talk about Anchor at the end of our episodes, is because Anchor is the platform we use to distribute our podcasts. It's totally free. It helps us distribute our podcasts to different platforms. That's how we're on Apple Podcasts. That's how we're on Google Podcasts, CastBox, you name it. They've helped us do that. You can record directly on the app, on the webpage. So you don't even need a super fancy setup. It's super straightforward. Totally free. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast or whatever you like to do. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the episode.
I need a minute, okay? I was saving that bacon.
Okay, so I'm sure some of you are probably like wondering, what is bacon? Because I'm like,
is that what you think? You think people are wondering what bacon is?
I'm not gonna lie. This was a situation where I was like, am I gonna want to consume bacon after doing this research? And I'm gonna say, for me personally, yes. But I'm gonna let you guys make your own decisions here.
Decide if you want to keep eating bacon.
If that's it's like a hot dog thing. They watch like how it's made about hot dogs, and they're like, I don't know if I want to eat it, but they still eat it anyways. So anyhow, I don't know.
That made me want to eat hot dogs more.
I love that. Yeah, we love a good ballpark dog. Anyways, we'll get to that. So bacon is a type of salt cured pork made from various cuts, typically the belly or less fatty parts of the back, and it's eaten as a side dish, as Tim mentioned, particularly with breakfast, or it can be an essential ingredient like a BLT, bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich, or a flavoring or accent, as in bacon bits in a salad. Which, do you hate that? Okay.
Hate that.
I was wondering.
No point.
Putting little bacon bits in the salad. Yeah. I don't really get it either, but
no point. They don't add anything. And it got so bad. That got so bad that we introduced dumbass like freeze-dried liquid smoke dog food, I think is what they were. The pink fucking I think they were just called, I don't know if they were fully called bacon bits because they weren't technically bacon
bits.
I don't think legally they were able to call themselves bacon bits, but like they're gross. Absolutely.
That's concerning. Okay. So that was not the way bacon is. So bacon is cured through either a process of injecting it with either soaking it in brine, which is known as wet curing, or rubbing it with salt, known as dry curing. Bacon brine has added in curing ingredients, most notably nitrates or nitrites, which speed the curing and stabilizing color. Cured bacon may be then dried for weeks or months in cold air, or it may be smoked or boiled. Fresh and dried bacon is typically cooked before eating, often by pan frying. Boiled bacon is ready-to-eat bacon, as is smoked bacon, but it can be cooked further before eating. And then you've got different flavors that can also be attributed with different types of wood or size techniques that you use to make the bacon. As I mentioned earlier, there are 5 different types of bacon. You've got side bacon, which is sometimes known as the streaky bacon, and that usually comes from pork belly. And this is long alternating layers of fat and muscle, delicious, running parallel to the rind. So this is the most common form of bacon that you see in the United States. So this the side bacon, the streaks, you guys know what I'm talking about. the quintessential idea of bacon. Like, that is the one that Americans go for. The term bacon on its own generally refers to the side bacon, which is the most popular type of bacon sold in the U.S. Back bacon is known as Canadian bacon, and that's Canadian style, and it's usually sold pre-cooked and thick sliced. American bacon is usually smoked with either hickory, mesquite, applewood, and then usually has flavoring such as maple, brown sugar, honey, or molasses. And then USDA regulations only recognize bacon as cured if it's been treated with synthetic nitrates or nitrites. Sodium nitrate, potassium nitrate. This means that bacon cured from nitrites derived from celery or beets must be labeled uncured and includes a notice about the nitrates. There's also bacon for sale uncured without any nitrates from any sources, which I thought was interesting too. So yeah, you can get meat that's uncured without any of these preservatives. Some people prefer that. It's really just however, like, your taste preference, but
cured bacon is going to be saltier. Mm-hmm. It's going to have more of a salty flavor going on.
Yeah, no, I've tried uncured. I can't tell you if it was, I can't tell you what meat it was, but it was uncured and it wasn't as salty. So I felt like I could actually eat more than one bite at a time without being like, oh, I need to get a drink of water. I need to get a drink of something.
I think bacon's one of the more obvious ones because we correlate that smoky, salty flavor with it. Mm-hmm. So bacon flavored things are very, it's like liquid smoke, extra salt, MSG, because MSG has that kind of savory flavor underneath. And you'll see that a lot in like bacon flavored things because that's what we attribute to bacon. But if you get uncured, it won't be as over the top. It'll be closer to just like unsalted pork stuff. So
give it a go. I think you might surprise yourself. Something that we appreciate here on Where It Is Food is Italian bacon. Oh, I did the thing. Italian bacon, or pancetta. We love pancetta.
Italian bacon.
Pancetta is kept from pork belly and cured with salt, usually seasoned with spices like fennel, nutmeg, garlic, and dried or ground hot peppers and peppercorns. After it's been cured and dried for a few months, it's rolled into a spiral so that the fat and meat form a cylinder. Rolled pancetta are usually cut into paper-thin slices and then fried. Pancetta, I just enjoy saying it, is also sold as a slab so that most of the fat is located only on one side. Slab pancetta is chopped onto cubes before it's cooked or added into a dish, kind of like a bouillon situation.
Pasta carbonara. Pasta carbonara. You cut them into cubes, slowly render that fat down. Use that fat plus some olive oil with an egg to make that nice buttery, eggy sauce that covers your noodles in pasta carbonara. It's fantastic.
I need to find a place that makes a good pasta carbonara.
Yeah.
I would like to. I've never actually had it before, and I would like to have it.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I'd like to have it where somewhere good. So if you guys have any recommendations, let us know.
That is for sure one dish that bacon just fucking dominates. I love that shit.
Okay.
It's good.
Ooh, okay.
Really good.
Okay, so now let's move it to the back now. So we got the back bacon, and that contains meat from the loin in the middle of the back of the pig. It's got less fat compared to the side bacon, and it's mostly eaten in the UK and Ireland. And we've got cottage bacon, and that's made from the lean meat from a boneless pork shoulder that's typically tied into an oval shape. And rounding out the bacons is jowl bacon. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's bacon cured and smoked from the cheeks of pork. Our friend of the pod, Bobby Flay, he could tell you a little about giancale, which is an Italian jowl bacon that's seasoned and dry cured, but not smoked. So those are our five types of bacon that we referenced earlier. Tim, you're probably, how do we get here though? Because I'll be real with you.
Yeah. Is this a history podcast or are we just gonna?
We're about to get into that. I'll be real. I thought the history was going to be short because I was short-sighted and ignorant in the fact that I thought bacon had only come around since the dawn of refrigeration.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was so wrong.
Right. You would place something like, I don't know, like jerky or something like that as older, right? Mm-hmm. You'd be like, this is like this, like that has to be the oldest form of a cured meat. It's not.
It's not. Not
I
even
didn't
close.
do the research for this, but it is in fact not.
It's not
the oldest form.
Yeah, I was hilariously wrong. So where can we start? Let's start with the Chinese. Let's start with our friends, the Chinese, and let's start with the friends of the Romans. Yeah, you remember those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the Romans are back.
The Romans are back.
Man,
no surprise.
It's always good. It's season 4, Year of the Romans. Year of the Romans. They're making their way back into our lives.
Always. Can never quit them. Can never quit them.
I'm going to be honest, also, the Chinese are always around too.
Every time, yeah.
but like, I expect that because, I feel like I learned a long time ago that like ancient China created just pretty much a lot of shit.
Yeah, they're doing their empires,
like. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, no, we did paper, we did all this stuff, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So it makes sense. But like, I did not realize that the Roman Empire was so goddamn innovative. I just thought they
Honestly,
were dicks.
Between the Romans and the Chinese.
I just thought they made people. I thought they made slaves fight to the death, and they just fucked each other. And that's all I thought they did. I thought the Romans were just
That's true. That's true. Learn that they actually did so much more than that.
Yeah, learn that they did stuff.
They did a few things that are quite literally just the foundation of our current society today, but like not
a big deal.
Not a big deal. So yeah, the curing of pig meat. The Chinese, they mostly salted pork belly, and the Roman Empire practiced different types of curing methods. Anglo-Saxons, shout out to them, low-key in this, they cooked in bacon fat. Yeah. So the wild pig was first domesticated in Chinese Mekong Valley and Anatolia in modern-day Turkey. Domestic pigs first entered European markets from the Near East and then began to interbreed with European wild pigs. It's said that in 1500 BC, the Chinese were curing pork bellies with salt, creating an early form of bacon, and the pigs were domesticated in China in 4900 BC. It's also believed that pigs were being domesticated in England starting around 1500 BC as well. Historians speculate that the Romans and Greeks learned bacon production and curing through conquests in the Middle East. From there, the Romans improved pig breeding and spread pork production throughout their empire. I think that sounds about right, though. The ancient Romans had also an early version of bacon, which they called patasso, a shoulder of pig boiled with dried figs, browned, and served with wine.
I love me some figs, and I also like the idea of using wine.
Right.
In there as well.
I think it was a good mix.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not good wine, just based off the period, but...
It's something. It's definitely something.
That's something I was thinking about the other day, is how we talk a lot about different wines and beers and stuff like that from the past. And it's just like, we don't ever really talk about how the fact that they're probably not good.
Right. For the time, it was good. But like, if we went back and tried, it was trash.
We have that shit down to a science now. Like the fact that there are brands. Yeah. Of wine that you buy and beer that you buy that just tastes the same every single time is fucking nuts. That's insane.
It's truly a modern marvel. Yeah. Tim, we're doing that thing now. They're doing that thing again. It's etymology time.
Hey.
Do-do-do-do.
That's fun.
Yeah. You love this shit.
I love we love words. We love words.
Okay.
Words are fun.
So, as we were talking about earlier, the word bacon derives from various Germanic and French dialects, including the Old French bacon, Old High German bacco, meaning buttock, and Old Teutonic back, which refers to the back. But the cut typically used to make bacon comes from the side or the belly of the hog. In modern England, a side of bacon is called a gammon, and a thin slice of bacon is known as a rasher. It was only in the 17th century that bacon was used to refer exclusively to the salted and smoked belly that we know today is bacon. So whenever the 17th century rolled around, yeah. So this is where it gets spicy. Before the Industrial Revolution, bacon was traditionally produced on local farms or also like commonly just produced at home. Like people would just make it at home themselves.
Yeah.
Up until the
classic.
Up until the 19th century, bacon production was localized to rural communities, and then bacon was distributed to the nearest towns and cities for retail sale. Almost all this bacon was cured using the traditional dry cure method. So for clarification, dry cure method, that's where it's cut and rubbed with salt by hand before being cured and then smoked according to producers, their, whatever their quote unquote secret recipe was.
Yeah.
But essentially that's what the process consisted of, and then they just added in whatever ingredient they wanted to add in after that. In the 1770s, this is also where the game gets changed, an Englishman by the name of John Harris, aka the man who scaled industrial bacon manufacturing, opened his company in the English town of Caen in Wiltshire. The world's first commercial bacon processing plant, Wiltshire, had its own unique method of curing pork, which they achieved by curing half pork sides in a secret brine curing solution, a method which became known as the Wiltshire cure. And then this method yielded a sweet, low-salt bacon that everyone seemed to really enjoy. So this method apparently has stuck throughout time, and it's the preferred method of curing if you are able to.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Fun fact, in the 12th century, a church in the English town of Great Dunmow promised a side of bacon to any married man who could swear before the congregation and God that he had not quarreled with his wife for a year and a day. A husband who could, quote unquote, bring home the bacon was highly regarded by the community for his forbearance.
Whoa! So look at there.
That's where that came from.
That's where bringing home the bacon comes from.
Yeah.
That's fun.
If you could promise that you wouldn't fight with your significant other for a year and a day.
Damn.
A year and a day. Interesting.
That's a long time to just like hold shit in.
I wonder if that's where the happy wife, happy life quote there then came from.
Maybe.
Because they wanted to get some bacon.
Yeah. Yeah, they wanted some bacon. Also, I think people just hated each other. And remained married as well. Like, that's a thing.
That's probably actually more so the case, but like...
Yeah, that's the thing.
No
one was happy. Most people weren't happy. Because people are like, oh, the divorce rate's up to like 55% or whatever the fuck. And it's like, yeah, well, people also were probably just like sticking it out because of like social norms,
Like women,
they
women
don't
couldn't like have...
I don't know, they didn't want to get like shunned from a fucking town for divorcing.
No, yeah, that, and it's like, I'm pretty sure like women couldn't have their own bank accounts. It wasn't until like later, like 1967.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course they were to get like, they physically couldn't have access to any money, even if they could work. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the divorce rate's super high these days.
Yeah, good. Good. Everyone keep rushing into marriage, please.
Please. So yeah, bringing home the bacon. So that was on the eastern side of the Pacific, but let's talk about the western side. The American hog owes a debt to Hernando de Soto, who introduced pigs to the Americas in the 15th, 16th centuries. Some claim that Christopher Columbus should also receive credit for his contribution to pigs in the Americas, but like, we're not doing that.
We sure about that?
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We sure about that?
I don't trust it. I didn't trust it. I don't trust it. But let's talk about Hernando some more. So the National Pork Board credits Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto as the father of the American pork industry. He brought 13 pigs to the shores of the New World in 1539, and within 3 years, his herd had grown to 700. Indigenous peoples reportedly fell in love with the flavor and readily accepted pigs and pork products as peace offerings. By 1653, a free-roaming and unruly swine population almost thwarted Dutch construction of a wall on Manhattan Island that was meant to keep the British and indigenous peoples out of New Amsterdam. This place later became known as Wall Street, and pigs continued to run wild in New York City into the 19th century.
Yeah, no, there's some say they're still roaming.
Someone say they're still roaming. You're probably...
They've taken human form, and they're on a lot of cocaine.
Thought that was very interesting. Man, bear, pig.
Yeah.
You're probably slightly curious.
Man, bear, pig.
You're probably slightly curious as to why we eat bacon for breakfast. It turns out that according to Heather Arndt Anderson's study of breakfast, our good old friends, the doctors, all of the doctors, in the 18th century recommended bacon for breakfast alongside of oatmeal porridge, fruit, buttered bread, and a cup of coffee or tea or chocolate. So
yeah,
that's why we essentially started because people are like, it's good for you.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
honestly,
there were some back dealings going on that as well.
Well, I'm going to argue that maybe it wasn't too terrible. The product probably wasn't the product that we get now.
I mean, no. Oh, no. The meat industry was awful back then. Are you kidding me? It was terrible. Spoiled meat all the time. It's awful. There's a reason why we have regulations. It was it was bad. It was really rough, but
that's true. Yeah, the meat is not being made to the standards in which we would have today. Yeah,
but no, I think we've learned that like when things become a staple of a specific time for a specific meal, it's benefiting someone. It is. Yeah, it's benefiting someone. I mean, of course, food nutrition science is at a different point, and we didn't know bacon was as not great for you at the time, for sure.
The Industrial Revolution brought oranges and other citrus fruits to the breakfast table, along with smoked salmon. On the American West, she writes, coffee, beans, cornbread, and bacon were featured prominently. So we can make a good faith assumption that bacon has at least been around in the North American breakfast since the 18th century.
Yeah.
Don't know where. I was completely wrong. Like, bacon's been around since the early days of China. Yeah. And then also in the United States, like specifically the 18th century, which isn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
Well, Well, we're not an old country, so
We're not, yeah. Much.
yeah.
Kind of forget that sometimes. Alicia Mills in 1818 started the first large-scale pork packing plant in Cincinnati. Pigs were slaughtered and their meat was preserved in brine-filled barrels to meet the growing demand for salted pork. Because of its advantageous geography and proximity to transportation hubs, not to mention its vast supply of salt and cheap immigrant labor, Cincinnati became the pork-producing capital of the world, with dozens of pork companies emerging there.
What was that last one? Cheap immigrant labor?
Um,
like, the fact that that's just, like, in a list of, like, geographical stuff. It's like, yeah, you know, they had access, geographically, they had access to a lot of roadways and places to distribute. They were next to salt. They had all this stuff, and cheap immigrant labor.
And they also... You can't forget geography, but like also the labor.
Also, they paid people like 2 cents an hour. Yeah, it's good.
By 1850, Cincinnati earned the nickname Porkopolis.
That's a stupid name.
Which was not on my bingo card for 2022.
You said 1850?
Yeah.
They got that name. I wonder when they turned into the chili city.
That's a good question.
Because they are, I don't think they're really, I don't know if they still are the Bacon City, but they are for sure like a city.
They're definitely, Skyline, we know your secret ingredient.
Yeah, it's cocoa.
It's cocoa. Oh my gosh, is that the SWAT team? By the mid-19th century, railroads made it easier to get pigs and cattle to stockyards for slaughter, and by the turn of the 20th century, refrigeration basically changed the meat industry and it became a year-round venture. This is where my brain came in, but this is where, I mean, I guess really, yeah, like the refrigeration process, like to that point, you could turn, to your point earlier, like this is what started to make everything a year-round food item versus like seasonal.
Yeah, seasonal stuff, and not having to worry as much about stock during certain parts of the year, things like that. You're really able to like hold and move things. This is also like a rapid change in just like the systems behind processing meat and food and all that. You know, it was it's quite the journey that 20th century is.
Oscar Mayer in 1924 introduced the first package, sliced bacon, for which it received a U.S. government patent. Did you know that Mr. Mayer opened his store? You know where he opened his store?
I have no clue.
In the great American city of Chicago.
Chicago, great American city. This is really just ringing all the where does food hits.
It is.
You know?
So we can also attribute bacon's growth to World War II. In the Second World War, bacon played an important role during the time of rationing. It gained popularity as a reasonably priced meat for families to consume on a regular basis. People also returned the bacon grease left from cooking bacon to their butcher, who in turn donated the bacon fat to the war effort. In case you didn't know, bacon fat can be used as an incendiary device and for making explosives. I had no clue.
Yep.
No clue.
Sure
So
can.
Bacon was huge in World War II. Speaking of the war, people in Europe were making macon, a type of bacon made from mutton, aka lamb.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
I don't like that.
We will get into different types of bacon later. So we kind of mentioned it earlier, bacon fat. So bacon fat, once cooled, is a type of lard. I need someone to confirm, but the Germans apparently have a spread where the base is bacon lard, and you just like throw it on some bread. I need someone to confirm that with me, though.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're confirmed.
I don't know why. I don't know why it wouldn't be true. I mean, we do that with butter, right?
Butter. Yeah, that's essentially that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, you know what bacon fat tastes like.
Delicious. Okay. Not only can
it's got a nice little flavor. You put a little salt on that rustic bread. You know, it's pretty good.
I'd have that with like
down.
It's like an everything roll.
I'm not even a big bacon guy, but that sounds pretty good.
Not only can bacon be a main or the side in your entree, but it's also had a pop culture revelation.
Hold on, shut up. Bacon can be a main.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's been times where I've just eaten bacon.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's all, I mean, it's not appropriate, but like that's all I've wanted, so I just have the bacon.
All right.
But it's because the bacon had a bunch of maple syrup on it.
Okay. Yeah, this is not getting better the more you describe it.
Okay, so we did talk about this, but I did also, because it was like, a pop culture phenomenon. So part of it was like anything and everything. Like if you wanted something that was bacon flavored, you could find it. Like things that didn't have any reasons to be bacon flavored was bacon flavored. They also, social commentators also attribute it to like people eating bacon. It was like the middle finger to the healthy diet and health culture, which
okay.
I don't really buy that, but like, all right, yeah, sure. We can do that. But
yeah, but wasn't that, I mean, I guess the health culture thing's been going for a hot minute.
Yes, it has.
Because that was around what? That was like, with the bacon thing was like circa like what, from like 2008 to fucking like 2012?
Yeah, it was like the early 2010s was the time frame. So exactly where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know.
Yes and no. Again, like we saw a lot of like turkey or bacon alternatives come from that turkey. But like, I necessarily think it was a social comment on people saying like fuck you to health and diet culture? Not necessarily. I just
if anything, it would be a comment to like counter like vegetarianism and veganism, because you know how that exists in the world, where like apparently it's an insult to just like to have different diets, I guess.
Yes, to have just like different.
It's amazing to me that like people literally argue over that shit. I mean, I guess like from vegans and vegetarians, they try to come from a sense of like superior morality.
Sure.
But which like, okay, that's annoying, but I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way more when I see people like fucking gawking over meat that hard. Like meat's fine. There's just a big, especially I also have recency bias because there's a big movement now with the carnivore diet, like this thing where we just eat like steak and red meat and like fuck off, and it's just like it's not
everything
that
in moderation.
Good. It's not that good. It's not good enough to be like vegetables suck. Like I can understand being annoyed with people being like, well, I'm superior because I don't eat meat. Also, they kind of are. Listen, man, like vegans, man, give it up to them. They aren't, being involved in, like, I understand, like, no one can abstain from cruelty in our culture.
Right.
I think it's, it's borderline impossible, right? I'm okay with people wanting to, like, put a fucking stake in the ground and be like, this is the one thing I can control, so I'm gonna like control it.
That's fair. I'll give you that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's annoying, but I'm just more forgiving to that than the opposite reaction, which is like, you see me slathering up this fucking pork and steak, I'm rubbing it down. Like, fuck off.
Like, all right,
it's not
we
that.
Get it. We get
it. We get it. You like meat. If you get what I'm saying.
I do. I get what you're putting down. But don't you fret, Tim. Per the Pork Checkoff Financial Summary, the company that handles our pork and whose goal it is to make pork the most sustainable meat, and from a United States standpoint, figure out ways to implement pork in other international markets, the pork industry made, let me make sure I get my carry the one, $75 billion in 2021.
Yeah, that's impressive. Most of that's probably coming from bacon.
Per the USDA in 2021, the export value averaged $62.86 for every U.S. hog marketed in these export markets. The graph featured China, Mexico, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and Central and South America.
Wow.
Wild.
I mean, we can argue bacon's. You think bacon's probably the most liked version of pork, you would say?
Yes, because this is where it gets fun with bacon, because like people will eat pork belly like in and of itself, but like that's technically bacon though.
Right.
Like, yes, I know, because like what else do people eat? Well, like pork loin, like pork tenderloin, not as much, but like bacon.
Yeah, I just don't think pork in general is getting consumed as much outside of like bacon and I think like barbecue.
I think that's a good
sandwiches and shit.
I think that's a good way of putting that, because this is a side note, but also a note, like bacon comes from the pig, right? Obviously it comes from pork. Ham also comes from a pig, but ham is mostly characterized as the hind portion of a pig.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily eat ham like ever again now that I've officially learned that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What, you don't like the hindquarters?
I guess not. No.
You crazy?
Because I'm like, what part of the hind are you giving me here?
The fucking the thigh and butt, man.
We'll get back to that.
The hind.
We'll get back to that.
The ham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll get back to that.
They're getting you the ham.
Nah, I don't know about it, Chief. All right. So besides
you don't ever just
look.
That's what I call Winston's back legs. I just grab her back legs. I'm like ham
hogs. Yeah. called Nova's little ham hocks. Okay.
I don't eat a lot of ham either.
Well, I was going to say, we'll come to the back end of this, but we'll come to the back end of this. Okay, besides being the main entree, bacon is also a staple in BLTs, top tier sandwich, but of course they have to be in season, which we talked about. You've also got alternatives to bacon, like turkey bacon or macon, and then you've also got plant-based bacon or soy bacon. And these alternatives may not be a bad place to look because studies have consistently found that consumption of processed meat is linked to increased mortality and to an increased risk of developing a number of serious health conditions like cancer, cardiovascular diseases, and type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
Not just for pig in general, but
the cured meat thing is rough, man.
Yes.
That is, I believe it's the same level of carcinogenic as secondhand smoke.
It's wild.
I believe.
It's
or
wild
might just be straight up smokers. It's one of the two. It's up there. Like in terms of like direct correlation of like a carcinogenic, it's pretty wild.
That's so wild to me. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
This was also interesting.
Fucked.
We're fucked, of course, with everything. So for safety, bacon may be treated to prevent trichinosis, and that's caused by a parasitic roundworm that can be destroyed by heating, freezing, drying, or smoking. Not great. And then you've got sodium phosphates, such as sodium triphosphate, may also be added to make the product easier to slice and to reduce spattering when the bacon is pan-fried. There's a lot of things, like I said, like when you eat processed meats in general. To Tim's point earlier, like times have definitely improved as far as like food science and like food safety goes, but like at the end of the day, like processed meats are still processed meats, so everything in moderation.
Well,
That's
food science and all that stuff does it, like in terms of safety, like that. I just mean safety in terms of you're not really getting like a bunch of spoiled shit most of the time. Food illness
most
outbreaks
of the time
still food illness outbreaks happen a lot, and they're happening more rapidly in produce right now than they are in meats, because there's a whole thing about it. Because produce is now being chopped and cut in facilities that also handle like everything's being like, it's a different podcast.
Okay, it's a different podcast. Okay.
Yeah, everything's being combined
when they shouldn't be.
And it's just causing a lot of like cross-contamination has gone up. Different processes for veggies is happening, and so that stuff happens. Like those outbreaks still happen, but they're less. But the thing that the advancement in food science is really showing us is just like what some of this food does to us in the long term, and that's good. That's good to know. Like processed meats aren't great for your health. That's a good thing to know, and hopefully that stuff. Hopefully we keep getting better at detecting what we're doing with foods and how it impacts
Absolutely.
us. Because it's only going to make us better, and it's going to make us feel safer consuming stuff over the counter, which I already think is the level of safety that people feel is already incredible.
Pretty high. Or I was going to say pretty high.
Like no one. I don't know many people walking into grocery stores going like, I'm scared of the produce I'm buying today. Like no one's really doing that.
No.
I mean, no one's even scared to the point of buying from like online meal plan companies and shit.
That's so true.
Like,
yeah, we trust the refrigeration process for the entire time. Like your meats and your veggies
we
to get
trust
to you.
the process so much that we straight up like we'll just like buy shit from companies that we learn about that day. We'll read about it and we'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that.
Have no clue if the supply chain is
it's fucking food.
We full send. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Tim, that's bacon though. That's it.
That's bacon.
That's bacon. You got 2.5 on it. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking 2.5. 2.5.
Didn't lose it, but I'll take that.
Actually, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it. It's a carcinogenic. I'm gonna drop it.
Knew I shouldn't have ended on that note. I knew it.
Yeah, that's a sour note. I actually knew quite a bit about bacon already, which is one of those things that sometimes we do an episode and I'm not the one researching it, but somehow I know too many things about it. So nothing was
mind-blowing to you.
I guess nothing was like overly surprising about bacon to win me over. And then also it just reaffirmed some issues with it, which is that it was overhyped, and in certain circles still is overhyped.
Overhyped still, yep.
And it is, it's a cancer meat. So
Get it uncured if you're going to get it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are. Elle's final thoughts. Back for segment number 2. Elle's final thoughts. Elle, what are your final thoughts here?
Bacon. It's great. But it's not going to be the thing that I like throw my, I don't know. I really know. I can't even come up with a clever metaphor. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to get bacon.
Yeah, you're not gonna you're not gonna fuck it, is what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite parts, because we're doing that segment as well, my favorite parts were when we talked about that it was a carcinogenic.
What is this, truth.org?
And and that the Romans and Chicago and Cincinnati weirdly made an appearance, but no, I'm happy that
Porkopolis.
Romans in Chicago made their fucking appearance. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're there. We're there. It's fine.
All right, that's the end of the podcast. Welcome to the end of Where Does Bacon? We got music going on. We make music on this show.
Tim makes music on this show.
Yeah, so the music that I played at the top as the intro, that we have a singer and that we play at the back end here, was made by me, but also by my buddy and friend of the podcast, Austin Martin.
Whoop, whoop.
He's also known as Meridian Sky, so you can check him out on Apple. You can check him out on Spotify. You can find him and do that whole thing, and I'll link all that in the show notes so you can see that and go listen to some of this stuff because it's good.
It's good.
You can find us at wheredoesfood.com. Yeah, you can go to wheredoesfood.com. We have all of our episodes up there and a little blurb about why we started this. You can also find us on Twitter at wheredoesfood. I'm probably going to make an Instagram page for the podcast as well, and I will update. If I do that before this episode comes out, I'll update it then. But I no longer have a personal Twitter.
Gone.
So, yeah. It's a hellhole over there, and it made me sad, so I got rid of mine.
That's the way to do it. That's the way you're supposed. I mean, that's what you should do.
But you can find me. You can find me on Instagram at Tim_and_Winston. And Elle, you can find her.
I'm still on the Fiery Bird app. So at El Chapo, at L_Chapo.
You can find our feed at anchor.fm/where-does-food. You can go there, and that's our RSS feed, so you can plug that into any of your catchers, things like that. Download the episodes. Have fun with it. You can also rate us. You can leave reviews on, you can leave a little star rating on Spotify. You can leave an actual written review on Apple, and I'm sure there are other catchers that have a review system in place, so you can leave a review there as well. It does help in the algorithms, so go ahead. It's a super easy way to do that. We also have a supporter button where you can just kind of throw some money at us if you want to. We're not gonna dance on your lap or anything, but I'll show a nipple if you want it. And it also just helps support the podcast in terms of new equipment if we want to upgrade, if we want to expand equipment to maybe have some guests on, things like that. It just makes life easier in terms of that. Also, website maintenance and yada yada yada, all the stuff that behind the scenes stuff it takes to do this nonsense. That's where it would be going if you felt so kind. Another thing you can do is just tell people about it. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell yourself about it if you really want to. You can also just trap people in your car and make them listen to it.
I think that's a good idea. Do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Just force them to listen to it. And we have a lot of content, so have fun. Also, I hope you had a great new year. This is, I believe this is going out on the 2nd. Elle and I are enjoying Christmas as we record this, but this is going out right after New Year. So I hope everyone has a wonderful New Year. I hope you all fuck each other. I hope you have a good New Year's fuck. I hope right at midnight y'all are just boning down, man. I really do. And consensually. And I hope we all have a good 2023.
Let's
I'm
do it.
not excited for it,
Just
but
kidding.
I am. But I am ready for it.
Let's do it.
We'll see ya.